Oz found his soulmate in Willow. But when the moon is full,
Oz just isn't the type to stray.
I know. I've wanted you even before I ever saw you.
his heart will belong to someone else. An all-new Buffy.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
And I am 14-time Grammy-winning award artist, James.
Wow.
14
14?
times. 14 fucking Grammys.
Wow.
I had to have a special room built just for him.
Wow. And what was one of your most celebrated songs?
Here Come the Cunts.
Here Come the Cunts. Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's nice to share a podcast space with you, 14-time Grammy Award-winning artist James.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I mean, I don't have much for you. This week, we're just going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 4, Episode 6, Wild at Heart. That's the best I've got for you.
You know what? When I was approached by your people to co-host this podcast, and by your people, I mean you.
Right, because I don't have any people.
Right, because you're nobody.
Right, I'm a zero.
Right. And I'm
a hero.
I'm James.
I'm a zero, you're a hero.
Right. I did it under the stipulation that no matter what happened, we would at least make it to Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, Episode 6, Wild at Heart. And here we are. You and your people have met your obligation.
And now you quit.
And I've met my obligation, but you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this with you.
Don't you have more Grammys to win?
I can do that. That's always kind of been a side gig.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's just like
winning Grammys. It's just my side thing. I mean,
that's just for
mainly.
funsies.
I host a podcast about Buffy
mainly
the
I
Vampire
host
Slayer.
a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. Yeah, 100%. But do be on the lookout for my next record, Cuntapalooza.
Cuntapalooza, okay.
Yes.
And what is that going to be the name of the title track also, or will there be a...
That is also the name of the title track.
Okay.
Which will be dropping as a single in 2 weeks.
Okay. So, could I make a suggestion?
I'd go for it. I probably won't listen to it, but please feel free.
Okay. Maybe on your next album, you could have a song called "There Go the Cunts."
Oh, you know what? Did someone give you an advanced copy of the new LP?
Well, you did.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Then you already know that the third track on the LP is the follow-up to Here Come the Cunts. There Go the Cunts.
There Go the Cunts. All right.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Looking forward to Cuntapalooza.
Yep, little something for the fans there.
All right.
So,
little fan service. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm basically like Taylor Swift, just dropping like hints and whatnot as to upcoming projects.
Right.
And everything.
I don't know what you're talking about, but right.
Your roommate will appreciate the reference.
Yeah, she will. She's counting down the days to her and it's not until November of next year. But she is counting the milliseconds. She literally has it on her phone.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
To when she gets to go to see, as she calls her, Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's close to her calls her Tay-Tay. I call her Tay-Tay.
Right. In bed or just all the time?
No, I don't want a song written about me. So. Right. Actually, that is 100% not true. Please, I will take a song written about me.
Right.
Taylor. Please.
You know, as she's now dating Travis Kelce, famous tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I know. You're a woman. You don't watch sports. So,
what's a Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I'm thinking when she breaks up with him, the song she writes about him will probably be called "Please Get CTE and Die." I'm just throwing that out there to her now. If she takes it, don't worry, Tay-Tay. I don't need any residuals. Right. Take it with love.
Yeah, she can have that. That's all hers.
Yeah, it's all her.
Man, that's mighty big of you. Yeah. That's mighty wide of you, my friend.
Yeah, I try to be, a gracious, like I am a gracious host on this show. I try to be a gracious human being and get CTE and die.
You. All I ever see you do is give and give and give.
Right. That's why I'm beloved.
Mm-hmm. Even as many times as I've tried to make you take it, you just won't.
No, I refuse. I will only give.
Yes.
So anyway,
you do, however, also enjoy receiving.
Do I?
But you don't like taking it.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Right.
You know what I mean.
Right. That's true. So
I'm talking about sucking dick.
Whoa. We are 6 minutes and 11 seconds in, and we have been canceled.
At least 6 times. That's a cancellation per minute.
Right. So James, what's new? How are you doing? Whatever you feel like talking about. I don't really care.
I'm all right. Not a whole lot to say. I do want to throw this out there. I've noticed that the comment sections on Facebook and YouTube have fallen pretty silent. It hurts me. It hurts.
So
my
you're
soul.
saying that our fans are basically failing us?
They are failing us.
Sad.
I don't know if there's the perception that if you think you might be taking us up on like calling in or Skyping in, then you don't need to put your comments in the comment section or what. But that's not the case. Even if you feel like you're gonna try and call in or Skype in with us for that comment. For that listener mail episode, please leave comments in the comment sections of Facebook and YouTube.
Continue as before, people. Continue as before.
Yeah.
No one
100.
said a goddamn thing about fucking changing shit. All right?
On your guys' end, we're just changing it a little bit on our end.
We're just ignoring it for a month. That's all.
Right. You guys should proceed as normal. Your modus operandi should be to leave us paragraphs upon paragraphs of reviews and thoughts and comments on these episodes. I'm not sure why it stopped. I don't like it. It hurts my feelings.
And we're going to see this get nipped in the bud.
We're going to nip it in the bud.
little bit.
And I know Jeremy would never admit this, guys. I know it hurts Jeremy too. He called me crying the other night.
Did I?
You could at least play along. Jesus Christ.
What did I say?
It was hard to tell between, and it was a regular phone call, so I couldn't see you, but you were definitely ugly crying.
Was I like doing the snorting and the sobbing and
yeah.
I actually did do that in the previous week with my my puppy dog.
I saw that. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, we had to put Zig down, so I'd like to dedicate this episode to my big boy. Yeah, that was. I didn't mean to segue into something seriously like sad, but
no, that's fine. Whatever, Debbie Downer. No.
Wow. Oh no, it's fine, you little bitch.
Yeah, it's fine, baby. Pussy.
Yeah, I just that sucked.
No, yeah, I know. I was very sorry to see that when you posted about it. That does suck. I'm having lost a couple fur babies over the years. It's always a hard thing to deal with.
I could tell it hit you from the comments you made on that post I made.
Yeah, well, you
said
it didn't.
James didn't say a goddamn thing, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't say a thing.
He didn't comfort me in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't really like me. I mean, that's.
Here's the thing. I knew I knew that we were going to be recording soon, and I could comfort you in this, like, face to face.
Yeah, was that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew I could offer you my condolences on Zig's passing. So was it untimely, unexpected, or
no, it wasn't unexpected.
Yeah.
It was we never.
I shouldn't say untimely. It's always untimely.
Well, yeah, it's always untimely. But no, it wasn't unexpected. It was he had cancer, and we thought we had more time, but he declined much quicker than anticipated, and he got to the point where he could no longer eat, or therefore go to the bathroom. He could drink some water and pee some, and that was about all he could. I mean, his quality of life was the shits, and we're just not about letting that happen. So
yeah,
we had to make the tough decision and do what we had to do, and it sucked.
Yeah,
almost as bad as having to do this podcast every week with you.
Oh, wow.
Wow. No, it just
wow.
It was
Zing.
Zinga. No, it was, it's just
right. It's I've never had to make that choice, but I can imagine that it's got to be a tough one.
Yeah,
even when you acknowledge the fact that you're ultimately doing the right thing. Especially if
the vet and everybody, kept telling us, right. So, this is absolutely the right thing and the right time, and where we're getting a little. I wouldn't say he was suffering yet, and that's what the vet said. She said, "You're getting a little ahead. You're probably a good week ahead of the suffering beginning," but his quality of life was just
right, and that's
terrible.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Especially, it's 100% the right call, especially if their quality of life is just not.
Yeah.
The
vet said he would have started suffering in about a week or so, that the pain would really start, and he not being able to eat, he would start starving, and we couldn't stomach seeing something like that, so we had to make the call, and that was that. And that was our show for this week, folks. I've been one of your hosts.
Tune in next week when we hit Angel Season 1, Episode 6.
Yeah, we just come here to give shitty news, and then we sign off.
And bust each other's balls a little bit.
Yep.
Again, my condolences. Sorry to hear that. That's always a tough thing when you lose a fur baby. But to get us slightly back on track, everybody, I'm not sure what's happened in the comments and stuff, but please proceed as you were,
as you were.
The multitudes of paragraphs worth of comments and whatnot.
Misspellings and terrible grammar and
speaking. This is so mean.
I wouldn't even know because I've never seen any of them.
You've never read it?
No.
You've never seen any of them?
No.
I
don't care enough to look.
Oh, wow. But also on that note, officially, our first participant in listener mail will be S-Dub.
Really? And you waited this long to tell me why?
Will be our good friend S-Dub. You know what, Jeremy? If you cared about our podcast just a little bit more, you would have known, because you would have been logged into the Buffy Revisited Gmail account, and you would have seen.
Don't get me wrong. I care deeply about our podcast. I just don't give a fuck about the fans.
Wow.
No, I'm teasing.
Wow.
You know that. The whole reason I'm doing, if no one was listening and no one cared and no one liked us, I wouldn't probably be doing this. But yeah, I probably would, because I'm a loser. But it wouldn't be as fun. So I tease my fan. Anyway, tell me more. So
she will be our official first caller,
okay.
our first participant.
Okay.
You and I can discuss it more off when we're done recording,
and whatnot.
Yeah, because there are some logistics.
And go ahead and here on the show. Go ahead and give me her number. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's 70 no
867. Okay, 53. Did you say 09?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Got it.
No, so yes, S-Dub will be the first fan joining us for listener mail episode number 1 at the end of August, or at the end of October. August.
At the end of August. All right. Well, how was it? How was it, S-Dub? Were we good?
Yeah.
Was it as good for you as it was for us?
100% won't be as good for her as it is.
Oh
for
no,
us.
No. We're selfish lovers.
I would just say we're selfish lovers.
Yes. Yeah.
So we look forward to that, and like I said, Jeremy, you and I are going to have to talk a little bit when we're done recording to kind of work out some logistics.
I have to talk to you after we stop recording
and reach out to her. Yeah. So.
Christ.
So. Maybe dig up the password to the Buffy Revisited Gmail, and you could actually hop onto the email chain.
I set it up, and I don't even remember what it is. I'm sure I shouldn't say that. I would hope that I have it written down somewhere, but that's not necessarily true.
Right. And maybe you could hop in on the conversation.
Well, because we knew all along that you were going to be like the PR guy of the show. As I have never been much of a people person, as you well know.
Right. Also, I'm funnier and more attractive.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's been our show again this week, folks. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. Go ahead and interrupt me.
No, what were you going to say?
I don't even remember now. Something about you being stupid. I don't know.
That's stupid.
No, I was just going to say that. See, there you go again. Sorry. You're a fucking dick. No, I was just going to say. I fucking hate everything about you. No, I was just going to say that I look forward to S-Dub, and this should be fun because I hope she breaks your balls relentlessly. Like, I truly hope for that.
I hope for the same thing.
And I am going to raffle copter.
I don't think she's going to target, like, just me.
Oh, she's targeting just you.
I think she's going to come after you a little bit,
What?
too.
I've been nothing but fantastic to her.
Oh, nothing but fantastic to her.
Yeah.
Except specifically calling out her spelling and grammar errors.
Wait, when did I do that?
You've done it a couple times.
Have I really?
Yes.
Wait, how would I know? I've never seen it.
I don't know, but you keep calling it out.
I think you're lying. I don't think I trust you.
Okay, I mean, you don't have to trust me.
All right, I don't think I will.
Fine, don't.
You're fired. Get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Clean out your desk.
Take my microphone.
What the fuck is that? Oh, you need to show that to our fans.
It's my microphone.
Yeah. From what year is the copyright on the bottom of that stamped in there?
Oh, this is brand new.
Oh, okay.
This is brand new. This is brand new technology, son.
Okay.
This is the latest in broadcast technology.
The latest and greatest in broadcast technology.
The latest in Yep.
Okay. So yeah, and we will be. All right. And when did you say we're going to be recording that between the 26th and the something or other?
Between the 24th and the 20. Hold on. Let me pull up the calendar
29th, here. I think you said 24th and 29th.
Yeah, the 24th and 29th.
Yeah. Okay.
The 24th and 29th, because
basically she can just pick a day that she thinks she can do it.
Yeah, because the last episode for this month will drop on the 23rd, so we'll want to give her time to watch that and put together, thoughts on that. And then, sometime.
Oh, no, the last episode for this month will drop on the 30th.
Yeah, but we're only going to be.
I see. I know we're going to go.
We're only covering 4 episodes.
Right.
And then, right.
I just want to make sure you weren't miscounting and
No.
Being your normal stupid self.
I'm not stupid. I might be a dick.
I'm not stupid.
I might be an asshole. But I'm not stupid.
I'm not stupid.
I'm not stupid. Stop saying things like that.
I'm over here like, a little bit.
Little bit.
No.
Yeah. So yeah. You and I will talk more about that.
And we'll call it Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited Fan Interaction Extravaganza #1. I mean, that's not very long. That's easy. That's easy to digest.
I'm gonna enjoy typing that on my fucking phone.
Okay. I hope so. Oh wait, let's make it a little longer.
Yeah. Please do.
Let's put like directions and shit in there and like
directions.
Okay.
Turn south on Oltendorf Drive.
Now.
Turn south. Turn left in 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Turn left now. Turn left now.
I hate that shit. Turn left in 100 meters. I'm like, fuck you. I don't even know how many feet, let alone meters.
Right.
Anyway, James, I have a request of you.
Uh-huh.
Dates and deets, get to it.
Wow. No, I'm not going to. You do the dates and deets. Good luck.
Okay. This week's episode is Buffy Season 4, Episode 6, Wild at Heart. Our stars, as always, are me and you. And let's get started.
Yes, as previously mentioned, we will be revisiting Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4, Episode 6, our 62nd episode of the series overall, Wild at Heart. Our episode director this week is David Grossman, and our episode credited writer is Marty Noxon. Our original air date was November 9th, 1999 on the now defunct WB network.
Let's party like it's 1999.
Our Nielsen rating for this week's episode was 4.1 million households when it first aired, bringing it in at 91st out of 139 network primetime shows airing that week, and second out of the 15 primetime shows airing on the WB for that week. Our regular cast, as always, but not forever, is Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, and Seth Green as Oz. And of course, Anthony Stewart Head as Giles. Our guest stars this week include Mark Blucas as Riley, Paige Moss as Veruca, Lindsay Krause as Professor Maggie Walsh, and James Marsters as Spike. Our episode synopsis this week reads, Buffy tries to comfort Willow when Oz answers the call of the wild and is drawn to another woman who turns out to be a fellow werewolf.
Just saying. Yeah, mine, dude, I'm normally really happy with, we both are, with the IMDb ones, and I have to, I take umbrage with this week's IMDb.
Please do tell.
When Oz falls hard for a sexy singer who also happens to be a werewolf, he must choose between Willow and his own animal instincts. Bullshit.
Yeah,
at no time did he fall hard for her, and it's just all wrong. It's just all wrong. It's like the person that wrote it didn't really watch the episode. Yeah, somebody kind of gave them this little quick synopsis, and they're like, "Oh, okay, let me just write this out real quick."
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm gonna call fail boat on that.
Yeah, that is kind of disappointing for the IMDb.
Yeah,
usually those are pretty good.
I will be writing a stern letter.
Okay.
I'll get that taken care of. It won't happen again.
Good. You get on that. A little early behind the scenes for this. I'm not spoiling anything. Presumably everyone listening has watched. Right. This episode does mark the last time that Seth Green will appear in our opening credits.
It will actually mark, he never comes back to either show ever again. The character of Oz actually goes on to start a cartoon show called Robot Chicken.
He does.
And he's just too
Yes.
busy.
Yeah.
He's
that's
like,
exactly what
go back to
happened.
Sunnydale and see that whiny redhead, or stay here and make millions.
Right.
He's like, fuck it, I'm staying here.
He's like, yeah, fuck it.
He's like, I'm in
It's just-
Burbank. I'm living the fucking life.
He's like, fine, I'm gonna stay here and do my little stop action animation show.
Yeah. And occasionally voice a character on Family Guy.
Right. Right.
That doesn't sound anything like him, and most people didn't even know it was Seth Green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our episode opens with Buffy being chased through the Sunnydale High. Oh man.
Whoa. I was like,
Through-
wait a minute. I think I watched the wrong episode.
Being chased through the UC Sunnydale campus by a vampire.
And the chase
once
scene's
they're-
pretty good, I thought. Like
Yeah.
they made it look like, there's been lots of chases in this show, but this one like felt really cool, you know, like they were really hauling ass, and like there was high suspense, you know. I don't know. I noticed that it was just paced better, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because that was something I definitely pulled out when rewatching the episode. I was like, this is a really very well paced chase scene.
Yeah.
Like it was
Like you felt the suspense, like oh shit, you know.
like fuck. So there's some fucks going down.
Yeah, it tongue tied you. It was so good.
I was like,
You're like, something fucking fluckle.
I was piss ass drunk when I watched it too. So whatever.
Right. Plus shooting up again.
Yeah. You don't bother looking for track marks, anybody. I do it between my toes so you can't see.
That's not entirely true.
I also do shoot it up in the base of my penis.
Okay, there we go. now that you're being honest, it's
Now that we're being honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be an intervention, Jeremy.
Well, you never know when an intervention's coming around. That's kind of how they work.
Good point. I probably wouldn't have logged in if you had been like, "Hey, we're doing.
Hey, want to meet up at 10 for your
9,
intervention?"
Right. Like Jesus wouldn't have shown up for the Last Supper if they had called it the Last Supper.
Or I don't think he would have just been like, "Hey, I'm just going to hang around here for a while Judas goes and sells me out." You know, he probably would have been like, "I think I'm going to bail."
Right.
You know?
Peace.
Deuces.
Come get me, Dad.
Yeah. Yo, D. Ooh. Sorry.
Right.
We're canceled.
And God would have been like, "No, you have to die so I can absolve them of their sins
That I gave them.
and that I gave them."
And then gave birth to myself to save them.
Right. And then hopefully Jesus would have been like, "That doesn't make any fucking sense, Dad. Come on.
He's like, yeah, but these people are stupid. They'll believe anything.
They're dumb. They'll believe it.
And-
And they will send me so much goddamn money."
Right, because he always needs money.
He always needs money.
He's not very good with money.
Always. He's not very good with money.
No.
For being almighty, he's not good at quite a few things.
The alt-right has canceled us once again. Just letting you
The
know.
alt-right. The alt-right. Probably just any like normal Catholic or Christian people
Yeah.
out there that aren't that
But do we
far
really
extreme.
miss those people?
I
Let's be
miss
honest.
everyone.
Wow.
I miss everyone when they leave.
Okay. All right. Sad.
So anyway, yeah, there's this really great chase scene at the beginning of the episode. Buffy's being chased through the UC Sunnydale campus by a vampire, and they end up in kind of a secluded area, and we find out that Buffy led him there on purpose because it was secluded.
And she wanted to make out.
And she wanted to make out with another vampire.
Yeah. I mean, she was like, listen, I used to date one of you guys. Kind of missing the teeth when we're making out. So
Right.
let's just get this done. Let's not make a big deal out of it.
Let's not make a thing of it.
Right. Just let's do it, and then you get the fuck on. And tonight I won't stake you. How about that?
Right. Tonight you can stake me. Oh, boom!
Oh!
Yeah.
Man. Holy shit. Fire. Fuck a duck.
So they engage in some fisticuffs, and she ends up staking him, and she makes an unfunny pun about heartburn.
Wait, did you notice that he never spoke?
He never spoke.
They saved like $250 by him not
Right.
literally, like seriously.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were literally able to pay him like scale,
right?
Because he didn't have any lines.
No lines, with the union, so they were able to be like,
Right.
"Listen, we'll give you $200, do this, and then fuck off."
Right.
And he was like, "Okay."
And he was like, "I get to be on the #1 rated show on the WB. Of course I'll do it."
And then he showed up, and they're like, "By the way, the staking part's not pretend.
It's not pretend. We're
gonna kill you today.
We're really gonna let Sarah Michelle Gellar shove a sharp piece of wood into your torso."
Right. And he's like, $200? And they're like, "Sorry." And he's like, "It's worth it."
Yes, well, okay. I'll do it. And I have to sit in the makeup chair for 4 hours. Oh man.
Yeah. Man.
That sucks.
That sucks.
That sucks.
That really sucks. James cracking himself up, ladies and gentlemen.
This gig's not as good as I thought it was gonna be.
That sucks.
I'm not cracking myself up. You're cracking me up. You're cracking me up, impersonating this guy who neither of us know what the fuck he sounds like.
No, I don't. He's since passed away.
Well, yeah, because he got fucking staked on camera.
Well, that's true. Yeah, he was. And as soon as it happened, he was like, "Oh my God, they weren't fucking kidding."
Right.
And he's like, "I think I'm dying." And they're like,
right.
keep rolling. Keep rolling.
And you can tell it's very awkward because you can see his mouth moving as he's saying these things.
And you can
obviously
see
they edited it out.
The absolute fear in his eyes as he's sensing his own demise.
Yes.
Sad.
The weirdest part, though, I mean, not that that's not weird, but the even more fucked up part of it was when they cut to Sarah and she's just smiling with like giddy joy,
like clapping and like jumping a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like a little kid on Christmas. She's like, "Oh goody, oh goody, oh goody.
I stabbed a guy."
Yeah, it was.
And they're like, "Sarah, just FYI, after this, you're probably going to be wanted for murder, so you might want to lay low a little bit."
Right. And she was like, "No, fuck that. I'm going to go marry Freddie Prinze Jr."
Right. I mean, dude, he is the #1 young Hollywood heartthrob right now. Imagine where he'll be in 30 years from now.
Right. She's like, I don't think so. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to go shoot this live action Scooby-Doo movie, which is going to elevate me from like A-list TV actress to A-list movie actress. And then I'm going to marry.
What could go wrong?
Right. What could go wrong with that? It'll probably be an entire franchise. I'll have 2 successful franchises under my belt.
And then me and Frederick are going to do a slasher flick.
Right.
And it's going to be off the chain.
It's going to be phenomenal.
My career is about to fucking rocket launch.
Right. I am fucking set. Who gives a fuck about Johnny Schmoface over there?
Johnny fucking no name. Stick a stake in his ass when he's dead.
Right.
Fuck him.
Right. Fuck him. We're not even through the cold open yet.
You know what?
So
the truth is we should stop using cocaine before we record.
Yeah.
We probably should think about doing that. But it would be a pretty boring show, though.
It would be a really boring show. Plus, I've already prepaid all the hookers to let me do the blow right off their ass.
Oh, they'll do that.
The hookers will do anything if you pay them enough.
Mine only let me do the rail off their dick.
Whoa, wait, what? What?
What?
I wouldn't make you pay me for that.
What? Okay, anyway.
So yeah, she stakes this vampire and she makes a pun about heartburn, Um, and then she's monologuing to herself about how the forces of darkness don't appreciate her well thought out puns and this and that. And then we cut to, who do we cut to, Jeremy?
Spike.
We cut to Spike, who's been watching the entire thing on, I don't
like
is it,
like 2.5 feet away.
like
Literally
2.5 feet away.
He's like the camera pans like, and it goes like this. It goes, and then they're to him. Like
Right.
the camera goes like this,
Right.
and then he's in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and he's elevated like
He's
3
above,
feet,
yeah.
like 3 feet, like standing
Right.
on top of a chair, and she's just like, I didn't even see him there.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost had you pull this scene because it's so fucking funny.
Oh yeah, dude, this is classic Buffy right here. What's about to happen?
Right. He's evil villain monologuing at Buffy, who of course doesn't know he's there, giving this speech about how, what does he say? He's like, you should watch
what you wish for, little girl, because
because
now the big bad is back, and I'm gonna, and then
right, and he gets tased from behind, and he falls to the ground, and we see him get scooped up and carried away by these military guys that we've been seeing throughout the season so far.
Yeah.
And that is our cold open.
It is, and it was a fantastic cold open. It was just total Buffy. You know, that's just the show. That becomes, those types of gags become more prevalent as we go along. And that's just one of the things that I always loved about Buffy.
So here's what I thought after rewatching the episode.
No one cares. In the bronze,
this scene in particular, I was like, in my mind, they're in the writer's room breaking the episode. They were like, remember the evil villain monologue that Spike did at the beginning of
Angel.
Yeah, what was the episode?
It wasn't City of. It was what was the second? It was the second episode.
No, it was the third.
Or the third. It was for the ring.
Yeah, it was the follow up to Harsh Light of Day. Shit, now I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway.
old. I can't remember those things.
Yeah. They were like, remember the really cool evil villain monologue we had James do at the beginning of that Angel episode? That, but end it funny.
Yeah, end it abruptly and funnily.
End it abruptly and funny. And they were like, "Oh," Marty Noxon was like,
"How about a
okay,
taser?"
I'll do it. It's what I will do.
How about a taser? I mean, I think a taser would be pretty cool.
Tasers are funny. Watching people get tasered.
Dude.
I could watch videos of people getting tased for hours.
If they should have tased him in the nuts, that would have been even funnier.
Fucking tased him right in the colonies.
Right in the fucking satchel. That would have been good.
Right in the goddamn coin purse.
Yep. That would have been good. Little bit. Anyway, we come back and where are we, James? We're in the bronze.
We are in the bronze.
The whole Scoob gang is there.
They're all there.
And they're playing on a Ouija board for some reason. They're fucking with the powers of darkness. And
yeah,
they should know better.
They should know better, but we find out that they were really missing Jesse.
Yeah, they were trying to contact Jesse from the very first episode of this show. Who
and we were like, man, that's a callback. I haven't thought about Jesse since the Harvest.
Yeah, and Xander's got the little thing, and he's all like, Jesse, are you still an E-list actor? And it goes over, and it goes to F, and then U, and C.
Right.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, they're in the bronze. They're talking, and one of them says something about, it's Willow. She's talking about how it's comforting to be there and yada yada, and because everything was always the same there, and there's no surprises and stuff. And I'm thinking, now wait a minute. How many times have you guys been attacked in the bronze out of nowhere and like vampires and demons and all kinds of shit? But nothing ever. Anyway, right when she says that, Giles walks up, and he's like, hello. He's all jovial and happy to see him, and they're all like, what the fuck? And he's got a latte. So they have an espresso machine at the Bronze. We need to add that to the list of their accoutrements. He has a latte, and he says, "Latte, anyone? On me?" Which I would have been like, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh yeah, I would have
Fuck
been
yeah,
like,
I'll take one.
a double shot of espresso in that bitch, please.
Dude, I used to get a quad shot. I used to be a barista back in the day, believe it or not.
Really?
Yep. And I used to make mine as a quad shot. Did you ever have a red eye?
No.
That's 6 shots of espresso, and then like Colombian like full tilt coffee. Ooh, son!
I thought you were gonna say Colombian nose candy.
That would help. Anyway, so they're all kind of like, what the fuck? But then they kind of accept it, and they're like, Willow says, I think it's brave that you're here. And he's like, oh, thanks for making me feel right at home and comfortable. And
well, because he says, and I love this scene because, for one, I mean, my love of Giles is well documented over the time we've been doing this. I love the fact that he's actively trying to figure out what his relationship to these people is now.
Now that they're no longer his charges.
Right.
They're adults.
Right. They're adults now.
And he's not even a librarian at a school. He doesn't even have a job that I know of.
Right, because he's not a watcher. He's technically not a watcher anymore either.
At this point, he's on food stamps and welfare.
Yes.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah. So yeah, I love this scene for that aspect, but I also love that Oz at one point steps in to defend Giles.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, now I've seen his collection. He was an animal in his day."
Yeah. Which
talking about his vinyl collection,
right? Which I like also because I think it gives us a little, like, we already kind of knew about that aspect of Giles from previous episodes, but it kind of cements another side of his personality.
Yeah.
That we're seeing more develop more since he's not a watcher anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and we know where this is. You and I and everyone else who's watched through before, we know we're headed with him. But right now we're in that stage of like him trying to find out like where is my place here,
right?
You know, and it's interesting. It doesn't last that long, but it's
Yeah.
Anyway, Veruca's band is playing again from was it from last episode or the episode before when we first met her? It was the last episode. I think it was last episode.
Yeah, it was the last. I believe it was the last episode when we actually found out her name and the band name. But we did see Veruca one time before that.
Yeah, and Oz is always kind of like got this. He's mesmerized, I guess you could say. Well, now she's singing and everything, and
which brings me to our bronze band for this week is once again Veruca's band Shy, which, much like Dingoes Ate My Baby, is a fake band. The real band behind Shy is THC, and this particular song they're singing is Dip.
Okay. We anyway, like all the dudes in this place are like mesmerized by her. They're all like staring at her, and Buffy and Willow are kind of noticing this, and of course it's distressing to Willow, and she tries to talk to Oz, but he's kind of distracted, and she's like, "What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Are you gonna eye fuck her in front of me?" And he's like, whoa, and then she just decks him, knocks him the fuck out right there.
Knocks him the fuck out. Here's something that I won't say it bothered me a little bit, but I think it almost kind of undermined the idea that they're, like, obviously this is our third interaction with Veruca at this point. And every time we've seen her up to this point, we see that there's something drawing her and Oz to each other, so to speak. Okay, there's something there. I kind of didn't like the fact that we actively saw like Giles and Xander also like fixated on her.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, I thought the thing between her and Oz was the werewolf vibe. I'm not giving anything away here.
Right.
But now you're just telling me, because she's...
But right, now you're just telling me that she's just got this animal...
That she's
for lack
just
of a better
so
term.
attractive. And I'm
right,
sorry,
she's just got this magnetism and charisma about her. And I'm like, I don't buy it.
My opinion, just that if anyone cares, I don't like this actress, at least in this role. You know, I've never seen her that I can think of in anything else, but I feel like she overacted this so hardcore. Yeah, not a fan. I'll just leave it at that. Don't find her that attractive at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, attractiveness level aside.
Well, that's in the eye of the beholder. I get it, but
right.
It's just,
for me, I just didn't like that they were now presenting this idea that she's just that polarizing to all men are just like, you know, completely engaged in her and taken by her. I liked the idea more so that it was just this animal magnetism between her and Oz because they're both werewolves.
Yeah. See, I would have just been sitting there eating pretzels and not even paying attention. And everybody would have been like, what? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it. Anyway, the next morning, we're at Oz's place, right? This is where they wake up. Oz's crib.
Yeah, I believe it's Oz's dorm room or whatever.
And Willow and Oz wake up, and I just gotta
hold.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before you go on, something else I wanted to mention, and I kind of thought you might bring this up. And I know you're never really a big fan of the music in these episodes.
You mean how badly it was lip synced?
Well, no, not that. The lyrics that she is singing to the song.
Mm-hmm.
Dip your finger in me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When it comes to the lyrics and stuff, I kind of these kind of songs, I just kind of I just like phase it out, you know. And I'm like, hurry up, you know. And because there's another part of this episode where we have to have this musical break where she's being all fucking. We have to cut to Oz like hardcore thinking about stuff, and I'm like, anyway. So yeah, but I did notice the bad lip syncing. There was two shots that I can remember where like she was like a full half second off of the actual music, and I know that's probably not her fault. That's probably the fault of
editing.
They didn't time it up right, but I was like, that looks very bad.
Here was my other issue with, and I didn't buy it the first episode we saw the band perform. Mm-hmm. And I realized that a lot of times in for musicians in particular, the voice that comes out of the body may not always match what you're seeing physically.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for some reason, the voice that they want us to believe is coming out of Veruca doesn't match that to the point where it's distracting to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
1,000%. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, so they've woke up in bed. This happens all the time in movies, TV shows, everything, and this is always something that drives me crazy. Or it kind of makes me laugh, is like they always turn and like face each other to do their yakking, their monologuing there. and they're like, 6 inches apart. And I'm like, dude, their breath has got to smell like the inside of a fake fucking leg. Like they just woke up, like, and fucking Oz is a werewolf, so his shit probably smells like Bigfoot's dick. And it's just like, damn. But no one ever seems to mind. Everybody's just like, hi, good morning, and I'd be like, fuck, you need to get up and brush them greens because you're killing me here. But anyway, that's something I always think of is ass breath in the morning. But anyway, they're talking and whatnot, and so she's kind of hinting that she wants to fuck. And no, I'm sorry, no, it was Oz.
No.
Was it her? Yes, it was her, because then she looks over and sees the time and says, but I got to go to class. She goes, but definitely tonight.
Right.
And he's like, well, not, how do you say that? Not unless you're into the crazy Jerry Garcia look. And I was like, what? I get it. I mean, I kind of get it, kind of see it. But anyway, and she's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, it's the night before the full moon. And she's like, oh. And then she says, oh. She goes, oh. And then she goes, well, and I have a thing anyway, this Wiccan group, yada, yada, meeting. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're the one that just said definitely tonight. But now you're like, well, I've actually got this thing. So, I'm like, I don't know. It just.
Dude.
2,000 years later.
Yeah, James made a little boo-boo. He's brand new to this, ladies and gentlemen.
It's my first time. It's my first
time. He
I forgot to hit
record.
I forgot to hit the fucking record button.
Which, listen, if we're gonna be honest, I have done this myself twice since the beginning of this podcast. Yes. Where I've had to get the video file from you and rip the audio out of it in order to have the audio only podcast. So it happens.
Right. So now this time I'm going to have to get the audio portion from you.
Yeah.
To rip the almost hour of audio.
Yeah.
Before I realized I never hit record.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you're now seeing us, but
you are now seeing us.
Prior to that, you were just seeing probably, I guess I'm going to assume, our logo and just hearing us.
Right.
Right. So
I can't believe I fucking did that.
I never even thought to look because it pops up here on my bottom left of my screen that lets me know you're recording.
Does it?
I never even looked. I guess I should start doing that just as a backup.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. But yeah, I didn't do that. So I guess it's kind of on me too. I need to hire better help. That's what.
But I mean, maybe if I was getting paid, I would be better help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's hurtful.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Anyway, we are back.
I'm just a little behind the scenes. Like when we cut away and came back, I was ready to scrap everything.
Yes, James was ready to throw away. Now, I didn't look when I stopped the recording here on the mixer. I didn't look to see how long. I think it was about 40 something minutes, 45, right. Maybe 50. Yeah, James was ready to scrap it all and just start over. And I was like, whoa. Slow your roll, cowboy. There's a way we can make this work. It's not perfect, but hey, we're not a perfect podcast. So, you just got to deal with our insane. Plus his mic died. Like right before he said, dude, I'm not recording. And he tells me that his mic was dead. So he had to switch mics to his headphone. It's not been a pretty situation. So
actually, speaking of which, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. my regular microphone kicked back in. So
Okay.
Yeah, I was ready to scrap it, and so anybody that's listening knows we've only actually covered, like, of the time you've been listening, maybe only 10 minutes of that has been actual show.
Yeah, we're only three scenes in.
But Jeremy thought everything before that was just such gold that we just couldn't
comedy
scrap
gold.
it. Right.
I mean, comedy gold. That's all we do on this show. And I'm like, do we really want to lose that to history? Because someday, people are going to look back on this and be like, I'm so glad that he didn't give up and we didn't lose all that to comedy history,
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly.
someone had to stand up and say, no, we will not lose what we have done.
Right.
Make it so.
And I'm glad you were willing to fight for that.
Yeah. Someone had to. Because you were flushing it. It was already in your mind. You had already flushed it in the toilet, and we were done. We were starting over.
We were done. We were starting over.
Yeah.
We were just gonna, bam, jump right into it, and just scrap it all.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
And I said no.
Jeremy was like, "No, sir, no."
I said, by God, we will make this work. Our fans need our comedy gold.
Right.
None of it can be lost.
They need, nay, they deserve.
Yep. Anyway. So I left off.
Please proceed.
I left off, let's see, with him and then bitching about her talking about going to a, like, why would she set up a fuck date and then say, oh, but I've got a thing. But yeah, she has a thing. We cut to Buffy leaving psychology class.
She has a Wiccan thing.
Yeah, I said that on the first.
Did you?
The last. Okay. Yeah, it's like a Wiccan group. It's basically a lesbian group where they're gonna make fun of men and rub each other's labia. But
wow.
But
what's gonna happen? All right.
That's precisely what she told Oz. I mean, I'm just saying what she told Oz.
Okay. I mean, I missed that part, but okay.
Yeah.
That's what she told Oz.
You don't have the special edition, see?
Obviously.
You're watching it on what, like Hulu or something?
Yeah.
See, I have the special edition Blu-rays, the full set.
Like the unrated.
Unrated, extra Euro minutes. You're missing some things. But so yeah, Buffy's leaving psychology class and Professor Walsh hands her paper that apparently had been turned in and says, basically, this was so fucking good, I want you to lead a discussion group next class and yada yada. And so Willow's all jelly. She's like, oh my God, this is the first time I've ever been academically jealous of you. And I was like, wow, what a fucking bitch. She's like,
geez, Willow.
Like, that was not a good compliment. And I was like, damn. And so yeah, now Buffy's like, oh, but this means extra work and yada yada. And so Willow's like, well, I'm gonna go meet Oz in the cafe or the outside thingy, whatever it's called, for lunch. You want to come with? And Buffy's like, yeah, but I got to go to a TA first to find out what I have to do for this leading a discussion thing, and then I'll meet you there. So we cut to Oz. He gets there at the outdoor cafe lunch area there, and there's no tables open except Veruca sitting at one all by herself. This huge table that could probably seat like 8 people. And Veruca's just there by herself. And she's like, he's looking around like, fuck. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? Sit on the ground? She's like, have a seat. And he's like, well, I'm meeting my girlfriend. And she's like, well, there's plenty of room. So he sits down and they start talking music stuff. And Willow shows up and she sees him from a distance, and she's like, wah, 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 wah. She's like, fuck. So she goes up there and joins in, and they're conversating, and she doesn't fit into the music speak conversation, and then all of a sudden, I thought this was weird personally, but maybe not. But just like all of a sudden, mid conversation, Oz is like, "Well, I got to bail,"
Yeah.
and he just gets up and like kisses her on the forehead, and he just leaves.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that was abrupt. And then her and Veruca just kind of look at each other for a little bit, and then Veruca's like, "Well, I got to go too," but she picks up her half-eaten hamburger and French fries and takes it with her and leaves.
Yep.
And I'm like, what in the fuck kind of people are these? Like, where are these people from? And then Buffy shows up and she's like, wow, the mass exit. She's like, does this have to do with me? And Willow's like, no, it's me, and I don't speak music-ese and yada yada. And Buffy's like, fucking grow up, bitch. And Willow just throws herself off the table onto the floor and starts crying,
kicking her feet like a petulant 2-year-old.
Yeah. So
I think the thing that got to me was that, like right before Veruca leaves, she fucking insulted Willow's shirt.
oh yeah. She's like cool shirt.
Yeah,
And,
it's like, what?
and then so when Buffy sits down, she's all like, why didn't you tell me I look like, what'd you say, a crazy watercolor?
A birthday cake explosion.
A birthday
cake.
Like yeah. And Buffy's like,
I thought that was the point.
She's like, you always wear insane clothes. And yeah, I don't know. And I was just like, okay. But just the abrupt exits of characters in shows is something I always notice. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're there for lunch. You've been there for approximately 2.5 to 3 minutes. Right. And you're like, well, gotta bail.
Nope. Gotta get the fuck out of here. Bye.
Get the fuck out. So anyway, that night, Oz enters what appears to be an empty crypt. That he has just decided to. He just took it over.
It's his now.
In Sunnydale, that if you find something empty or abandoned in Sunnydale, the law is it's now yours.
It's 100% instant squatter rights.
Right. Just like Angel with the big mansion, and if you find it and it's empty, it's instantaneously yours, free of charge.
Some states have squatter rights laws where it's like, if you're squatting in in an abandoned place for like 12 years or something like that, it automatically becomes yours. But not Sunnydale. It's instantaneous.
It's instant. As soon as you walk in.
Oh, this is empty. It's mine now.
If you pee on the wall,
right? Essentially, everybody in Sunnydale discovering an empty place is Christopher Columbus.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
They just walk in and they're like, "This is mine now."
Yeah. And if people come in after you, right, and it's your place now, you can enslave them.
You can enslave them.
They have to submit to being enslaved.
Right.
Right. And you can do anything you want to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty cool deal.
Including kill them with your new Western diseases.
Yes. Yeah. You give them blankets with smallpox, things of that nature. And it works out for everyone in the end.
Everyone's.
There's happy. No one. I mean, when it's all said and done, no one has any real complaints.
Yeah, no. When it's all over, everyone's like, "Yeah, that was cool."
That all worked out. I mean,
let's build some statues for that dude.
Yeah. You guys were so worried that something bad was going to happen, but look at us now. All these 200 years later, everything it couldn't be better.
Right.
For us.
Things are. Yeah, it's perfect.
I mean, bunch of crybabies.
Right.
Anyway, where was it? Oh yeah. So he goes down in this crypt that he is now, or mausoleum, whatever you want to call it, that he is now just taken over. And he has constructed which I don't know at what point we learned that Oz was a master welder, and metal fabricator, but he has put together in this one alcove area. He's built a fence with a closing door that's got a lock on it and everything, like a magnetic lock. And I'm like, wow, okay, you can go, Oz. You're a metal fabricating motherfucker. And goes in, locks himself in, takes his shirt off, and then just starts furiously masturbating.
He is going to town on himself.
Like he's been waiting all day to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I just thought of, James?
Yes, sir.
Was his abrupt exit from the lunch because he realized that the sun was setting? But wait, why would the sun be setting?
Yeah, that was lunchtime. Yeah, no.
Yeah, wow. Maybe he just needed to masturbate too at that point.
At that point, he was literally sandwiched between his hot ass redhead girlfriend and
not so much.
And this blonde that he is apparently feels some sort of connection and attraction to.
And even he's not sure why.
Right. So yeah, he was fully bricked up. He left to go rub one out.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's what I would do.
So he locks himself. We know. So he locks himself up.
Thinking about doing it right now.
Yeah. Whoa. Let's wait till at least we get done recording. He locks himself up. Transformation. We kind of fast forward a little bit and to later that night, and he's full werewolf by now, and he's pissy. Werewolf Oz he's being a naughty boy.
He's being very naughty, and
he's slamming himself against the door and just knocks that door right the fuck off the hinges. And I was like, not a good welding job, Oz. Not a good job.
The hinges give away.
Yeah. So werewolf on the loose. Meanwhile, we cut to Professor Walsh, who is leaving school at a very late hour. She's walking out in the parking lot, and she's walking along a row of hedges, and she's hearing something on the other side. And as would be done, she says, "Hello," and
right.
"Hello, I'm making my presence known. I'm approximately 2.5 meters away from you, to your left." Anyway,
so you always talk about how things get to you in movies and like you're nitpicky and stuff. That's the one thing that always gets to me in like horror movies and stuff. Yep. Like, for one, if you hear a random noise in the dead of the night in your house that has just lost power, you don't fucking go towards that noise.
Well, and you don't call out at the night, "Hello."
Right. And exactly. You don't yell into the darkness, "Hello, is anyone there?"
Because what's the best case scenario? You're going to get an answer.
Right.
You don't want that.
Right. And I also don't. The one thing you don't want to do is yell someone's name into the John. Is that you? Because listen, serial killers don't like that.
And John's already dead.
And John's already dead. Okay?
John, in fact, is being worn as a skin suit at this moment.
Right. That funny noise you heard was John's brutal and untimely death.
Yeah.
2, the serial killer that just brutally murdered John and is now wearing him doesn't like to be called by other people's names.
Right.
Listen, 90% of Haddonfield's deaths could have been prevented if people had just not called out random names into the night.
Or just stayed the fuck in their house and let the creepy guy with the mask on not in.
Right.
Lock a fucking door every now and then.
Right. Like 19 Halloween movies, and the one thing I've learned is Michael Myers does not like being called by other people's names.
Yeah, and he doesn't have keys to your house.
He does not have keys to your house.
So generally speaking, if you lock all your doors and windows,
lock your fucking doors and windows.
He's like, fuck it, I'll go to the next one.
Right. And
when he walks up to a back door and the motherfucker's just unlocked, he's
Right.
like, yeah, I guess, okay, I'm going to kill everyone in here.
Right.
As a lesson.
Yeah. That's all it is. Mike,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to kill these people. It's really the last thing he wants.
Right.
But he knows, he's like, look,
they're lost causes at this
they're
point.
right. They left their back door unlocked. They have to be taught and used as a lesson.
They need to be chastised appropriately.
Right.
And so
that is by murderalizing them.
Anyway, back to fucking Professor Walsh and the goddamn. Oh my god! So from around the corner comes Oswolf, and she's like, "Ah!" Total freak out. Which I mean, I don't blame her. I'm just saying it was fun that she's just like, "Ah!"
Right. Yeah. And no one would can fault her for that.
So she turns and starts running. And she turns back at him at one point and throws her leather briefcase at him. And he's like, oh, found my weakness.
Oops.
God, I slipped, broke my ankle. Can't chase you anymore.
No, not genuine leather.
Yeah. You found my weakness. I'm a PETA board member. So she gets, and then she rounds a corner, and what do we see? Another werewolf that looks really weird, that has some really weird hair.
It's possibly the worst werewolf design I have ever seen.
It was sorry. It was a normal werewolf costume with a wig on. And it just looked fucking weird. Like super weird.
Yeah.
Startlingly weird. Like I had forgotten what her werewolf form looked like, and I audibly laughed. I was like, what the fuck? If I saw it, I'd be like, damn, look at that hair.
Right.
Because it was some big ass like 90s fucking Rachel hair. And so now she's like, fuck. So then she kind of runs another direction, and they both leap at her, but they don't go after her. They hit each other, and they start slap fighting, basically, on the ground. And she runs off and presumably escapes this hideous encounter. And she's like, I've got to get someone back here to look at that thing's hair. Which, why does she have the hair? I don't, never mind. We're just going to skip it. Just forget it. We cut to the next morning, and Oz is waking up out in the woods, and who races up from behind him but Veruca. And they're all scratched up, both of them, and cut and stuff. And she's like, how was last night for you, baby? And he's like, need to tell you something. She's like, what's that? And he's like, I have the clap. And she's like, fuck me. And you didn't fucking wrap up. And he's like, I was in werewolf form. I didn't have any pockets.
Right. He's also like, it doesn't matter because you weren't able to get me off. And she's like, that's not true. I know. And he's like, no, I spit on your back.
Wow. Did you go in a hole? You went like northeast. I was going pure west, and you went northeast. And I don't even know what happened. So I was heading. Wow. Okay. So but yeah, she's all like, oh, we had the great night, and thanks for the bang, baby. And I'm like, oh, that's what they did. Then we cut to them in this laundry, like the campus laundromat, and they're just stealing clothes, literally just stealing clothes. And she's wearing a bra, apparently some panties, and this black thing. I don't know what the fuck it looked like, a mini skirt, but it was like lingerie. Again, I don't know anything about women's clothing, but what the fuck was that? And how did she just happen to find like, oh, well, these fit perfect. This bra fits perfectly, and this fits, like a dude can just throw fucking anything on and be like, well, this is 9 times too big, but fuck it, I'm just walking. Her shit looked like it was tailored to her. So she's like, she's trying to talk him into basically, you should be with me, and
let's not sugarcoat it, Jeremy. She wants to fuck again right
she
there.
Does. She
right
even
now.
says it. She even says it. She's like, we can do it again right now. And he's like, listen, when I pee, it burns. Do you not understand that? And she's like, yeah, but I'm a hooer. And he's like, well, that's true. That is a true statement. So, okay, fuck it. And so he fucks her.
Right there.
And she died. And she's the first one to die of the clap.
Right. The worst part about it, though, was not cheating on Willow. It's the fact that they fucked on top of somebody's clean clothes.
Right. And he had to use somebody's clean shirt as a spooge rag. And they don't even know it.
Right.
So they're going to put it on and a few hours later, and they're going to be like, why is this thing like glued together? And poor bastard.
Someone's going to be like, why? I just washed these clothes. Why do they smell like sex and wet dog?
Yeah. Poor bastards. Anyway, he's like, nah, fuck you. That ain't happening. Deuces. And and I should bring up, she also discovers that he locks himself in a cage. And she's like, why would you do that? And I'm like, so you're basically, she just said, listen, I'm a murderer. Why would you not want to be a murderer? That's what she's saying. Because you're going to kill people.
It is. As much shit as we're giving it right now, I really did like this scene.
I didn't, man.
But here's the thing. What I liked about it in particular is how equally shocked and appalled they both were by how the other one deals with their werewolf situation.
Yeah, but only one of them is a normal human way of dealing with it. The other one's just like, listen, I was a psychopath before I became a werewolf. And now that I'm a werewolf, I'm a full-blown, psychopathic killer.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I'm not.
But so here's the thing. I disagree that how Oz handles it is necessarily the normal human thing to do.
Really?
Yeah. But I also don't agree that Veruca's is the normal human. I don't think there would be, I think you would have people on both ends of the spectrum. I think you would have people like Oz that are like, no, I need to fucking chain myself up 3 nights a month. And I think you would have people like Veruca that'd be like, no, I embrace this. I'm a wolf in human clothing, so to speak. So I don't.
Yeah, but only one side of that spectrum is right. No, you can't be like, wah. No, murder is not an acceptable. No, only one end of that spectrum has the right idea. The other end are insane. Listen, folks at home, write in and tell us who the fuck is crazy here. I mean, come on.
No, I agree that Oz's decision is the right decision, but all I'm saying is that in the real world, I feel like more people would go down the Veruca path.
Well, yeah.
I'm
not saying that those two spectrums wouldn't exist. Absolutely they would. I mean, look, we have insane people that vote for Donald Trump. But what I'm saying is only one end of that fucking spectrum is correct. Is doing the right thing.
Right.
Like running free and just being like, fuck it, if I kill a bunch of people, fuck it. That's not right and it's not cool.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
But yeah, you're right. We would definitely have plenty of crazies out there who would be like, I'm going to run free because I'm the wolf and and they should be shot in public, those people, with a dull bullet.
The dull bullet. Okay.
Just saying. So yeah, he pieces out. And let's see, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, okay. So we go to Giles' apartment, and he's watching the telly, and some kind of game show, and he's answering the question correctly. The person gets it wrong, and he's like, "You moron!" And he's like, "That dinette set should be mine." I found that fucking funny. And because he's like sitting there eating, like, it looks like he's eating cereal. He's not, but it's like a kid like sitting there eating cereal, watching TV. But we get a knock on the door. He answers it. It's Buffy, and he's super happy to see Buffy. Like, he's so fucking bored out of his mind with like life in general. So she comes in and they talk, and she basically informs him that she's quitting school and is going to become a full-time exotic dancer. And he's like, "Do you really have the tits for that?"
He's like, "You've got the legs and the ass, but I don't know if you got the titties to make it."
Yeah. And she's like, No. That's why I'm here. I wanted to borrow some money because I'm going to get quadruple E's. And he's like,
"It's like that. I don't think those don't really fit your frame.
Yeah, he's
you
like,
need to
maybe
go
we should
small."
just go like a full C cup. And she's like, "Well," and then he's like, "That's the only way I'm giving you the money." But then she just like fucking kung fu kicks him, knocks him out, and takes his money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It's a very fucking sad.
It went in a really weird direction.
It really did. It really did.
It was unexpected.
Yeah.
It was unexpected.
So no, she's basically informing him about, because she found out she overheard Walsh and which I left that scene out because it was so quick, but she overheard Walsh and Riley talking about how she was attacked by two big dogs and yada yada. And so she's informing Giles of this, and he's like, "Oh, really? Two large dogs?" And she's like, "Yeah, on the night before the full moon." And he's like, "Oh, so you mean werewolves?" And she's like, "No, I meant pit bulls."
Right.
And
and literal pit bulls, Giles, not Mr. Worldwide.
Right. And so no, but he's like, "Okay." And she's like, "So, you do your thing, I'll do my thing." And he's like, "Now check in with," he's like, "Well, you," how did he say that? She's leaving, and he says, how did he say that? It was funny because he was like, "Don't forget to check in with me," or keep me updated.
Yeah, he starts to say it, and then she's like finishes his sentence.
Yeah, because he's really bored. Now we come to find out we'll never see Giles again. He has no part in whatsoever in any of this, so we don't know even why she went to bring him into it, because she's not going to use him. I mean, he's not going to be like, "Hey, I'm Giles," and I found.
No, we do see him again.
No, I know we do see him again, but I mean, you think with this scene,
he's not central to the resolution of the story.
Yeah, not at all. It's like he's like, "Sorry, couldn't do anything. Just went back to watching TV and eating my cereal."
I honestly feel to a degree that the writers were struggling and trying to figure out what his place in the show was now.
Yes,
well.
You're 1,000% where they have all season, because none of the episodes really used him appropriately.
No.
Luckily, they figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if we had lost Ash, this would be a very different. I don't know if I would have continued watching it, to be honest. I mean, I probably would have, but it would have never been the same.
Right.
Because he is a very sexy man, and I enjoy watching his bottom. No, he's like.
I 100% agree with that statement.
No, he is the most, other than Buffy, he's probably the most important character of the show. Like, I don't know that you could really do this show without him. I mean, you could, but it would be a completely different show, in my opinion. Anyway, so, oh, I left out the. I'm sorry, I left out a scene. Wow,
I was hoping you were gonna get to that.
don't know how I did, but it was kind of brief. Willow shows up at Oz's and she's like, she's basically trying to get down to business. And
also, let's not forget the fact that she's now dressed like Veruca. And kind of like Faith. And like a whore. And like Buffy.
And like Vampire Willow.
Yeah.
Almost identical. Those leather pants she's wearing are absolutely from the wardrobe for when she plays Vampire Willow.
I don't think so. They're not nearly as tight.
Oh, you paid that close of attention to them.
Yeah, they're a loose fitting leather pant.
Okay, well, still, she's wearing leather pants and like this dark kind of fucking pirate shirt.
Purple top.
Yeah, and he mentions it right away. He's like, new look, and then she sees him wearing these fucking like this clothes he stole from the laundromat, and she's like, you too, and he's like, well, it was laundry day, and
Yeah.
And he's been reading the papers because he's trying to find out if he and Veruca did any damage whilst out and about. And anyway, so yeah, she's trying to get some D, and he's obviously feeling guilty about the Veruca deal, and he's got all this shit in his mind, and he basically says, well, I didn't get any sleep last night because of the wolf thing, and he's like, I'm wiped out, and she's like, oh, okay. And she's all sad and butthurt, and she leaves. But that was that scene. Sorry, I accidentally left that out.
Don't let it happen again.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to skip this scene on purpose.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
All right.
Shut your camera off. Shut your camera off. Shut your camera off. Shut your fucking camera off. Shut it off. Shut it off. Good. Okay. So we pick up in the crypt, and we see that Oz is what?
I'm back. No, go ahead. Were you on the right? We're at the right place.
Yeah, we pick up in the crypt with Oz, and
where Master Welder Oz is re-welding the door.
Re-welding the door back into place.
And Willow mentions, she's like, "Hey, maybe do a better job of that this time."
Right.
And he's like, "Wow, breaking my brother's balls." And she's like, "Well, you did fucking deny me the D earlier."
Right.
And he's like, "Fair enough."
Like, that's fair. And then he's like, "I'll give it to you now."
And she's like, "No thanks.
I don't want to
just fucking use my dildo. And it's 1,000,000 times better than you, shorty."
Right. And she's like, my dildo named Xander.
Ooh.
Just like, so really jam it in there.
Setting Drew his face perfectly on the head of the
right on the tip of the dildo is a perfect. It's almost scary photo accurate.
It's like idiot savant artistic
of Xander's face.
Yeah.
We're in the crypt. Master Welder Oz is fixing the hinges on the door, and Buffy finds him there and asks if he got out. He says yeah, and she mentions a second werewolf, and he acts all dumbfounded. Well, second werewolf? What?
Second werewolf? I don't know anything about the second werewolf.
I don't know. Second werewolf. I don't know. And she asks if he remembers anything about, seeing a second werewolf or anything, and he says he doesn't. He's like, when the transformation happens, he's completely gone. He just blacks out and the wolf takes over. And then we cut to Willow, who is at Xander's.
Slamming Xander into her vagina.
It's just going to fucking town on herself.
Again, she's fucking slapping herself and shit. And she's rough.
Right. She's slapping herself and she's like yelling at herself, spit in my face, spit in my face. And then she spits like upward, it goes up and then so that it falls back in her face. It's really fucked up. It's fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
It's fucked up. I'm kind of understanding now why she doesn't mention Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, no, we cut to Xander in his basement apartment, and Willow basically
apartment. It's just the basement
of the basement
house.
And Willow shows up, and she's basically looking for advice. Like, what does it mean when
your boyfriend won't fuck you?
When your boyfriend won't fuck you.
And Xander's like, it means you have a stinky pussy.
Yeah, he's like, it means.
She's like, smell it and tell me. And he's like, okay. And he's like, yep, smells like LeBron James ass crack after the playoffs.
He's like, this smells like a halibut and cheese.
And sadness, honestly.
And sadness.
Yeah.
And then he's like, also, you're not a natural redhead?
And she's like, no, this is just a part. I'm not really a redhead. And he's like, oh, that's true. I'm not really a guy. And then he drops his pants and he has a fucking vagina.
Got a vagina.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
He doesn't actually have a vagina either. Completely smooth.
Yeah, it looks like a Barbie. It looks like a Ken doll.
Just nothing there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Like, hey, what do you think of that? And she's like,
I think that's fucking weird.
She's like, what do you do with that? And he's like, absolutely nothing. He's like, when I poop, it comes out my mouth.
Right.
And she's like,
what about? And she's like, what about when you pee? And he's like, my tear ducts are also my urethra.
Right. It's weird.
It is weird.
The whole show is crazy, but we love it.
Right. It's just, this episode really just changed the whole dichotomy of everything that's happening in the show.
It really did. It super did.
And so anyway, Xander tells her, he's basically, you just need to fucking talk. Like, just fucking talk to Oz and find out what the fuck's going on.
He's like, so the big thing is, you guys should talk.
Yeah.
And Willow's like, oh, I have an IQ of like 300, but I hadn't thought of that.
Right. And I've often chastised Buffy for not just having conversations with her boyfriend because it leads to miscommunications and misunderstandings. And yet here I am refusing to just talk to my boyfriend.
Right. And just be like, yo, why won't you give me the D?
Right.
And then, go from there. But.
Right. So then we have a little montage. It's a little montage of Shy practicing at the Bronze, and we see Xander making some phone calls. And
who do you think he's calling? Because I was like, he's definitely calling like one of those old 1-900 sex lines, isn't he?
No, we're about to find out who he was calling.
Yeah, but at least one of those calls. He was like, "Look, I got a quick 10 minutes."
True.
I got a quick 10.
Right. So he called. He's like dials like one night.
What was it like? I'm sorry, 100. It was like a $2 a minute or something like that. It was crazy.
So he dials up like 1-900 sex me up, and he gets the operator. Hello, what's your name? What can I do for you tonight? And he's all like, my name's Frank.
He's like, can I talk to Dale?
Can I talk to you? And she's like, Dale's not working. What can I do for you? And he's like, could you pretend you're homicidal, possibly psychotic werewolf, and tell me I'm a bad little cub and spank me?
Wow. I'm I don't know where to go with that. I'm just gonna let you keep going.
You shouldn't. You really shouldn't.
I'm just gonna
Please stop me.
See where this goes.
Please stop me. No, and we see Oz making a phone call, and then we cut to the crypt later that day, and Oz is there inside the cage. The door's open, and Veruca strolls in, and she's like, "Oh, this is why you called me here." She says, "This is why you called me here, to show me your habit trail."
Yeah, dude. I was like, that's fucking great.
I was like, that's fucking golden.
Because earlier, I forgot to mention in that earlier scene in the laundromat when she first finds out that he locks himself in a cage, and he's like, "Well, don't you?" And she's like, "Yeah, mine's got a little wheel in it and a little plastic ball."
Yeah.
I was like, "Lol."
And she's and a little bell I can ring.
Yeah, a little bell I can ring. Yeah. She's
so
like, "No, I like to run free and murder all night."
Right. Kiss did a song about that, didn't they?
Yeah, it was called "I Want to I Want to Murder All Night and Fuck Every Day."
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I want to murder all night and fuck every day.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna keep saying.
Yeah.
So they go back and forth. He's all like, "Get in the fucking cage with me, you psycho werewolf bitch," and she's like, "No, I'm not gonna get in the fucking cage with you, you domesticated Rottweiler," and
Yeah, you fucking neutered fucking bitch boy. And
not the actual dialogue, but you get what we're saying.
And then he literally just physically grabs her.
He does.
Shoves his tongue down her, at least into the Adam's apple region, or where one would be. And then pulls the door shut.
Right, and that's not the bullshit part of the scene we were just talking about. That's the actual accurate description of how the scene ends. She keeps getting closer to him, and she's laying on all this talk about, "Can't you feel it? It's like blood boiling between us," and all this and everything else. And
he's like, no, it's your blood's not what you got the clap.
I tried to tell you.
About that, but you didn't. It
burns when you pee now.
And she's like, "But why does my vagina feel like molten fucking, steel?" And he's like, "You're dying."
You're dying. So yeah, and he literally grabs her by the back of the head and starts kissing her and pulls the cage door shut behind them. And dude, you do the next scene, because this scene hurt.
It does hurt.
Physically hurt.
Anytime. Okay, first of all, Allison Hannigan is a great actress.
Yes.
Her what's the word I'm looking for? Like her hurt and her sadness type acting is off the fucking charts. Because she can turn the waterworks on, dude. But anyway, yeah, the next morning she comes skipping into the mausoleum with breakfast in hand for Oz, and what does she see but those two curled up naked together? His dick is actually still inside of her at this point.
Jesus Christ.
It's glued in there, you know what I'm talking about? That's happened to you.
That's beside the point.
And so
have I experienced that situation? Yes, I have.
So
do we need to talk about that right now? No, we don't.
Yes, we do. No, so she.
Okay, so it was the summer of 2010. No,
it was the summer of '82. I was listening to some Johnny Cougar, and her name was Ted.
short for Teddy.
Short for Teddy. Teddy,
Short for Teddy. Calm, relax,
calm
people.
the fuck down. No, so when she sees this, when Willow sees this, she of course spazzes. She drops the bag of food and the drink and everything. Did you notice nothing came out of the cup?
What was the thermos?
No. It was not a thermos.
I'm pretty sure it was a thermos.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I won't argue because I can't really. I thought it was like a fast food cup, with the plastic lid and the straw.
No,
because when it hit, I was like, nothing came out.
No, I'm pretty sure it was a thermos.
All right, I think you're wrong, but anyway, no. So she does that incredible acting, and of course, at this point, he wakes up and sees her, and he hurries and gets his pants on. Well, he has to slip his dick out of Veruca first, and he kind of, like shakes it a little bit onto her, to get the excess nut off of it, but then he just rubs it across her hair. Oh God, we're so canceled. So then he throws some pants on real quick and opens the door of the cage, and I'm not going to sit and try to do the dialogue they did. It was excellent dialogue. They both acted the fuck out of this. Veruca, of course, is just like sauntering around, listening in, and I'm just like, get the fuck, like, why are you still there? Like, shouldn't you have been like, oh, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here? But no, she's a weirdo, and Willow says something at some point, and Veruca's all like, girl's got a point, and Oz is like, fuck off, and then she goes to say something else, and he's like, now. I was like, oh my God, that's the most emotion we've ever seen from Oz.
It was, I think the only scene I could think of off the top of my head involving Oz to rival it was when Willow was kidnapped by Faith and the mayor, and they were trying to figure out, do we save Willow?
Smash, yeah,
right, and yeah. This was powerful.
Yeah, it was, and he and she Veruca FOs. He's like, damn, and they have a big thing there, and they're not really fighting. It's they're both hurting. They're both like, he didn't want any of this. He never asked for any of this. He never wanted any of it. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying leave the fucking guy alone. No, like, I totally get where she's coming from. I get where both of them are coming from. Like, this is just a huge fuck up misunderstanding, but it's going to hurt everybody, and so I'm feeling for both of them during this whole thing. And basically she's like, you have no idea, like, how this feels, basically. And he's like, I remember, going back to the Xander Willow thing, and she's like, oh, so what is this, just payback? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm trying to relate that I do understand. And anyway,
it's such a hard scene to like describe.
Yeah, it's just
like, you have to watch it to get the full impact of it, because like you and I sitting here like describing the scene are never going to do it justice to what was put on tape. And I mean, presumably everyone listening has watched it, and it's such a great scene. It's such a powerful scene, and Oz kind of like Oz never tries to necessarily defend what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, he accepts his responsibility, and he's not trying to really make excuses for it or anything. Even though I think we can all agree, like, Willow's 100% right. There were other options he could have pursued.
Sure.
And trying to keep Veruca contained.
Yeah.
And he 100% fucked
He could have
up.
went to Buffy and been like, listen, that fucking Veruca bitch from the Bronx, she's a fucking werewolf. She will not lock herself up. She's going to kill some people. Go fucking kill her. Go murder her.
Right.
And, you know, it would have been like a 20-minute episode.
Right.
But, you know, Oz being Oz. Actually, it's not Oz being Oz. It's Oz being Xander almost. Like dumb. Not thinking things through and being like, well, I have to, you know, manage this on my own. And because he could have been like, he could have went and told Buffy, you know, the shit about Veruca and then went to Willow and been like, listen, you have to hear this from me. This is what happened. Right. You know, and
like, you know, you say being Xander, and I understand what you're saying, but I think more so what we're supposed to take away from it, and it's kind of pointed out in this scene, is that there was this undeniable animal attraction between Oz and Veruca that he was unable to, and this isn't me justifying it by any means. Like I said, he 100% fucked up in this situation, and there were better ways to handle it. But it was that animal attraction and magnetism between them that he couldn't explain and he couldn't, you know, control. Because Willow asks him point blank in this scene, but you wanted her, right? In an animal kind of way, more than you wanted me. And Oz doesn't give her an answer.
Yeah.
You know,
which I don't think is a fair question, because it's like, but she's an animal like me. So of course I wanted her in an animal way and not you, because you're not an animal.
Right.
I don't know, but it's just a powerful scene. I'm going to leave it at that. It's, you know, at one point she basically shuts down and she leaves crying, and Oz is like, fuck. And we cut back to Willow, who's like walking home through the streets of Sunnydale, all distraught and everything. And at one point, she just walks out into the middle of the street, and there's a car just about to fucking smoke her ass. Buffy's across the street, but quite a ways away. And she's like, Willow! And she goes running. But then right before she gets hit by the car, somebody grabs her and pulls her out of the way, and it's Riley, Bupkis. And, which I'm going to say something nice in this. I liked him in this scene. You know, he saves Willow, and Buffy gets there, and she's like, thanks, you know, I was too far away, I wasn't going to get here in time. And he's like, well, nothing says thanks like a 50. And so she gives him a $50 bill.
Right. And then he's like, I can't believe that worked. And he's like, also a hand job.
And she's like, and I mean, it's woo.
Oh, I don't think we need to detail what happens next,
but we're going to
slowly and in detail. No, but I liked him in this scene.
I'm gonna reenact the scene now.
Okay. No, I liked him in this scene. He's like, listen, you know, he's telling Willow, he's like, listen, no matter what it is, it's not worth hurting yourself over. Yeah. And he's just like, hey, you know, he looks to Buffy, he's like, you should take her home, you know, and take care of her. And
Buffy's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, it's kind of like the obvious thing, but you know, I'm gonna give him props for this scene. I actually liked him in this scene.
She's like, you did your good deed, Dudley Do Right. Now get the fuck out of here.
You know, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, she kicks him in the ass as he's leaving.
Right. No, I agree. I liked Riley in this scene too.
Yeah, which is saying something, because there's as the season goes on, people, you will discover that I'm not. Well, you've already know that I'm not a Bupkis fan, but he has his moments where he's well written and does a pretty good job. So yeah, Buffy takes Willow back to their dorm, where they make sweet, passionate love the rest of the night. And
Buffy's like, I know how to make you feel better.
And they're like, fuck Oz. Who needs a dude? We're just gonna scissor all night. Anyway, so Buffy's like she's taking care of Willow and
Oh yeah, she is.
So and they're talking a little bit, and she's like, Willow's like, Buffy's like, I'm gonna go take care of this shit, with this Veruca bitch, and she's like, do you need any chocolate, or can I get you some chocolate or anything? She's very concerned about Willow. Like, she stops herself like 2 or 3 times before leaving, like, are you sure you're okay and everything's fine? And she's like, remember what Riley said, put the blame where it belongs, which is not on you. So Buffy leaves, and Willow repeats that statement to herself, and she's like, yeah, put the blame where it belongs. So she heads over to her witch trunk and opens up her witch trunk and starts getting witch ingredients out. Meanwhile, Buffy goes to Oz's room, and she's not happy with Oz. And she's like, where's she at? And Oz is like, I don't know. He had just hung up the phone from asking. So he's like, I've called everybody, her usual haunts and the whole nine. He's like, I have no idea. He's like, but since it's still the full, and that he's like, I can smell her. I can smell her scent, and I can find her. And
he's like, since we fucked,
I can smell her pussy from like across the fucking campus. And Buffy's like, you're fucking sick.
Right, and he's like, we should go right now because it is pungent.
Jesus Christ. No, he does start to say something, like he's like, Buffy, like he wants to say, I'm sorry, whatever. And she's like, Oz, now would be a good time for your trademark stoicism. And I was like, damn, Buffy, you little, it's maybe don't be so like judgy since you don't really know the whole story. Like, maybe just be like, hey, she's my best friend and I love her, so I'm gonna protect her. You're my good friend too, so I'm not gonna be a fucking bitch to you. I don't know, whatever. So they head off, and using Oz's sniffer to lead the way, they basically find. He's like, oh, she's over there, and they get over there, and it's just a pile of her clothes. And then Buffy's like, yeah, like she's almost like she's trying to throw you off the scent. And then they both realize, fuck, Willow. So they go bolting back towards the school. And as they're running, because they're hauling ass, Oz is a bit ahead of Buffy. Buffy fucking slams like face first into one of these fucking, and it's like broad daylight. It's not like it's daylight, put it that way. It's not evening, night, anything. It's still daylight. But she slams into one of these, commando looking fuckers, and they have a brief little scuffle. And then, Buffy gets up and just grabs the trank, because she's got the trank gun, by the way, the tranquilizing gun that they use for werewolves, and she grabs it and heads off, after Oz. And Willow's in one of the campus labs doing some black magic, looks like, saying things like deceitful hearts will be broken, and let this picture in other words, put the kibosh on this motherfucker when I put this picture in here. And at the last minute she changes her mind and puts the picture down of Oz, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And at that time Veruca walks in, and she's like, damn, for a minute there I thought you were gonna play rough. And she's like, but you're too weak, blah, blah, blah. And Willow's like, you don't know shit about me. And she's like, don't I, though? Don't I? And Willow's like, no, you really don't.
You really don't. And then Veruca's like, a little bit.
And so, and then all of a sudden she just fucking backhands Willow. And Willow hits the fucking floor. And then at that split second, boom, the fucking door, like, and Oz is a little guy, and this is a big, heavy fucking like oak door that's locked. And he just fucking, I guess he slapped his dick against it, and this fucker just flew open. And he's like, don't fucking touch her again. And Veruca's like, but I have to. Because you're too weak as long as she's alive. So she turned into William Shatner. And basically she's like,
such a good reference. I love it.
She's like,
but Oz, I have to kill her. So we
if you don't
can be
kill her right now, how are we gonna go on with ourselves? No, but
how can we be together?
She's like, you're too weak with her, and we need to do what wolves do and kill. And he's like, yeah, you're right, we do kill. And then they kind of turn. They're like half turned at this point, and they get into a big fracas.
Could honestly be the worst CGI I've ever seen in this show.
Kinda. Oh no, not the worst. Just remember back to season 1, especially like the pack.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the worst. But it's pretty bad. It's a little bit bad.
A little bit.
The practical effects I had no problem with, but the at this point in 1999 on television,
the transit Veruca's in particular, initial beginning transformation here in this scene was just awful.
Yeah. So then they fully transform and they start going at it, and Willow's like, "Oh shit!" And she's slowly kind of, because she's still knocked down on the floor, and she's kind of just pushing herself away from these two, and pretty quickly, Oz werewolf just fucking bites into this bitch's throat, tears it out, and she's done. That's it. Veruca's done.
Can we talk for a minute about how half transformed Oz and half transformed Veruca when they were fighting? Oz was getting his ass handed to him.
No, we can't talk about that. No, yeah, he was. Did. Except at the point where all of a sudden he goes and he fucking headbutts her. He fucking headbutts her right in the, and then he gets the upper hand at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good little bit. He fucking offs her pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, we were running out of time.
Yeah. And then Willow's like, Oz, and she kind of holds her hand out, and he's full werewolf at this point. So, boom, he goes after Willow, and he's just about to reach her, and all of a sudden he gets pulled backwards, and there's Buff. She finally made it, and she's pulled him back, and she has to give him a little bit of a shit kicking, a little bit.
Gives him a little bit of a shit kicking.
Kicks him around a little bit, and then thump, darts him, and that's it. And then she runs over to Willow to console her whilst she cries. The next day, Buffy's telling Giles about these, because she's at Giles, and she's telling him about these fucking commando dudes she's been running into. And she's like, I saw them once on Halloween, but I just thought they were in costume, And she's like, but, I'm seeing them all the time now, and they're getting in my way. We need to find out who the fuck these dudes are and what the fuck's going on. And she says, because they almost running into this fucker and having this scuffle with him. I almost didn't get there in time to fucking save Willow. And Giles is like, oh no, almost didn't get there in time. Fuck me. I better get right on this.
Heaven forbid Willow died. Ooh.
Meanwhile, you remember that whole thing about check in with me and keep me updated? Never heard a fucking thing from you, Buff.
Didn't hear shit from you, Buffy.
Don't know how to use the phone anymore?
Right. Also, give me back the $4,000 you stole from me to get your titties done.
Right. Jesus. Anyway, so they're both concerned about Willow and Oz, and Buffy's like, I don't know how they're going to get through this. And we cut to Willow coming into Oz's room, who is packing a duffel bag. And basically he's like, I'm bouncing, broad. And she's like, wow, you're just going to hit it and quit it? And he's like, that's how I roll. A little bit.
A little bit.
No, he's he's leaving, and she's like, "Don't I have a say in this?" And he's like, "No." And he doesn't know where the line that separates him from the wolf is, and now he's concerned, and he doesn't want to hurt her or anyone else. We know this about Oz. He's not into, hurting people and shit. So
Right.
this whole ordeal has wigged him out, and he doesn't know what to do, and so he's gonna jam. And he goes up and gives her one of those Oz Willow forehead kisses, and heads out to his van. And then he starts it, and then he turns it off like, fuck, no, I can't do this. I gotta stay. And then he's like, nope, I gotta go. So he fires it up and pulls away, and credits. And that is the episode. And Oz now left the show.
There was that whole end scene, like Willow's sobbing. And
just the scene in the crypt. I wasn't going to try to do justice to it because everybody has seen it that's listening, so they know how good of a scene it was.
When she asks Oz, "Don't you love me?" and he tells her that in his entire life she's never loved anything else.
Yep.
Man,
just saying something. I'm like, damn, you even love your own parents? Right. And he's like, fuck no, I hated those motherfuckers.
Yeah, it was such a good scene. We'll get into it as we give our final ratings. So the Oz, Veruca, Willow love triangle was originally planned to take up most of the rest of season 4. But Seth Green left the series to do a movie. And
really, I didn't. Up the creek.
I didn't care enough to look into what movie it was.
Up the creek or up a creek or something like that.
All I know is that
I
movie.
didn't realize it was him that made the choice to leave. I'll be damned.
All I know is that movie pretty much almost ruined Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Going forward.
Yeah. No, it's a fucking shame to lose. I always assumed it was their short-sightedness that they just were like, we don't have anything for you,
Right.
I didn't realize it was his choice.
Now
I hate him.
We hate Seth Green. Fuck you, Seth Green. If you're listening, fuck you.
We know he is. Come on.
Of course
he he's listening. Come on.
Right. They the entire cast listens.
Fuck out of here. Of course they do.
Yes, they do. Joss Whedon has in interviews has said that losing Green was a quote heartbreaker, and so Willow got her heart broken. I took what we were feeling and put it on screen so everybody would be on the same page.
So they all felt like lesbians? Spoiler alert, sorry.
So but yeah, so it was Seth's decision to leave the show. Apparently he must have really wanted to do whatever movie that was. I'm sorry, what?
It was just like a not low budget, but it was just like a small studio comedy. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in Seth Green's ability to handle his career in those days. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, these days he's doing okay, but back then, what the fuck you doing over here?
Yeah, it would be interesting to know for sure which movie it was.
I'm almost sure it was that up the creek or up a creek or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's that. Let's be honest, that's pretty rare.
Sure. Jeremy, would you like to guess? Would you like to guess this week's body count?
No.
Okay.
No, there was. Oh, you slimy bastard! You're trying to catch me here.
I'm not trying to catch you here. There's an obvious number.
Yeah, but 2. There was 2.
Yes. Very good.
Okay. Whew.
Our music this week, as previously stated, was THC with Dip, THC Need to Destroy, 8 stops 7 with Good Enough. And as always, Christoph Beck with our original score. Jeremy, can you
Yes.
please tell me and our lovely audience, how many blue cargo vans do you give this episode?
You know, I'm gonna give it a 1. It just
Really?
was no, hell no.
Okay.
This is a solid 4. It's I wanted to go 5, but I can't go 5 on something that breaks my heart like this because Oz was always my. Well, look, everybody knows Spike is my favorite dude. He's my guy, but I loved Oz. I mean, I loved the character of Oz, and I loved Seth Green in that role, And when this all first happened, I was like, "Oh, he'll come back. He'll be back," which he does a couple of times, I think, but he's never a cast member again, like a regular cast member again. And I don't know. It just, even still, all these years later, I'm like, what could have been if Seth had stayed with the whole, the whole run of the show. And because I'll just be honest, I did not like where we go with Willow as far as I'm not going to give spoilers away, but I just don't like where we go with Willow. And I feel like that was kind of forced because they're like, well, now that Willow doesn't have Oz, what is she? And I'm like, come on, Willow's Willow. But anyway, but yeah, it's a 4. I mean, the crypt scene and then the final scene alone make it a 4. I mean, Jesus, they just knocked it out of the park both times. And there's very little Buffy in this episode, and you don't really miss her because this is such a Willow and Oz centric story that you don't really need her except to play the final hero card, and save the day.
It's funny you bring that up because Marty Noxon has said that this episode, Wild at Heart, amongst the writers' staff, is viewed as the second part in what they refer to as the Willow Oz trilogy.
Yeah.
The first part being Phases, and then this, and then I won't spoil, the third part.
Which I think part is kind of fucking bullshit, but whatever. Yeah,
the third part of a trilogy is always the weakest.
I don't know. Is it though?
I think the only exception is Indiana Jones, which of course now isn't a trilogy anymore, but when it was still just a trilogy.
Right. I was going to bring up Halloween Part 3, but that's definitely not a trilogy. But it was the time that Halloween Part 3 came out.
Right.
And that was fucking dope. I'm sorry.
So we've talked about this. If you're looking at it strictly from as being part of the Halloween franchise, then as a trilogy, it is 100% the weakest entry.
Well, yeah, looking at it from that angle, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get off that and get back to my my rate. Yeah, it's a 4. It's a 4. It's a 4, baby. This is a classic episode amongst all Buffy fans that is referred to and talked about to this day. And yeah, I just I didn't have any major complaints. It was all just nitpicky stuff, like always. So, but I can't go 5 because it just breaks my heart. And knowing that we don't ever get Oz back, like in a real, regular way, just still irks me to this day. So it's a 4, baby. James, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many Wild at Hearts do you give this episode?
I give this episode 5 Wild at Hearts.
Okay.
I mean, it's all there for me, man. Like from the very beginning, the cold open is is so Buffy. It's really the only way to describe it, especially since we're dealing with the series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, from that opening chase to Spike getting taken down by that taser, like that whole sequence is just 100% on point. Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a show, and then the rest of it is just, yeah, like we had some nitpicky gripes throughout it, but nothing so major or so awful that for me it takes away from the overall quality of this episode. It gives like you said, there's very little Buffy in it. This is straight up a Willow Oz episode, and it's the stronger for it, honestly. It gives us so much good Willow and Oz stuff. Especially at the beginning, like, the whole scene of them in bed, and him like talking her out of her bad dream, and like it's so fucking cute. It's so
it's so cute. It almost makes you want to throw up in your mouth.
It's so on brand for Willow and Oz as a couple. Yeah, like it made me want to take a bath with my toaster.
Yeah,
that scene, just how in love they are and how cute they are together.
Where is my bathing toaster?
Where's my bathing toaster? I'm gonna have a close personal relationship with my toaster tonight in the bathtub.
Yes.
It really, that scene really just adds in ripping our hearts out when the time comes in this episode to do that. And it genuinely, like, I know you're not big on like feelings and emotions and stuff, but like it, for someone like me, like it genuinely, like, rewatching it again, like it breaks your heart, like, watching this happen. And it's, by the time it ends, like, you're kind of emotionally drained from it. So
again, you're looking for the bathing toaster.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, and we've said this so many times on different occasions, like, all of our principals are fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
In their roles.
At this point in the show, they all have their characters down.
Oh yeah.
To a science, you know.
And you said it when we were, when you were talking about the episode earlier. Allison is so good at emoting and bringing these feelings to life, as is Sarah and the rest. Like I said, the rest of our cast.
She and Sarah are the best at emoting. I'm telling you.
And Seth Green, like, I don't think he gets enough credit as an actor, honestly.
No, he doesn't.
Like he's kind of known for his quirky, like, funny, comedy roles and stuff. Yeah. But his emotional range on this show alone is ever in this episode alone even is just so fucking good. Without, he may even be better at it than the rest of the cast because he doesn't have a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally relying on him being able to emote almost strictly visually.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so good at it.
Yeah.
That yeah, like I said, like the cute coupley scenes between them are so good, and then the heartbreaking scenes between them are equally as phenomenal. Yeah, it's a 5. Like, it's in the top echelon of Buffy, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, it definitely is 100%. That's like I said, it's amongst Buffy fans, it's a classic. It's considered a classic. So yeah, it's a must watch. Put it that way.
Yeah, 100%.
So, James, this is the part where you normally talk. Where you normally talk about things that
Stuff.
Yeah.
Things. I mean, I don't know if it matters anymore because our commenters seem to have abandoned us.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't. Maybe they found
like this anymore.
Maybe they found a podcast that they like better. I don't know.
It's true. It's true.
But it hurts. But I mean, I
guess BuffyRevisited.com, doesn't even need to be mentioned anymore.
Right. Or the fact that if you go to BuffyRevisited.com, you could find links to our Facebook page and our YouTube page and our email address, which incidentally is BuffyRevisited@gmail.com. And do I even need to bother telling them that they can go to any of those places and leave us comments and thoughts and opinions on the Buffyverse as a whole, or, Buffy in general, or Angel in general, or these specific episodes?
Or just to tell us how fantastic we are as hosts.
Right. Or to tell us we suck, or anything.
Well, let's be honest, they would never say that because
we don't.
No.
But yeah, I mean, they could go to Facebook or YouTube and they could find our posts specifically related to this episode and leave us comments and thoughts and opinions and criticisms if they wanted to, but I guess they don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I guess we're all on our own again.
Right.
So.
All by ourselves.
But anyway,
no, please. So I was just gonna say, please. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe everyone's just caught up in their own stuff. But yeah, please. Business as usual in the comment sections. We're really missing seeing those really long, drawn out reviews and thoughts and whatnot. And if you don't start leaving those again, it's really going to make our reader mail episode pretty boring. Kind of fucking boring. So please hop into those comments, leave them. Even if you're planning on reaching out to be a part of the listener mail episode, leave your comments in the comment sections, and that is what we will discuss when you call in or Skype in to record with us for those episodes, for that listener mail episode. And that is all I have to say.
Indeed. So, folks, if you care at all about James's mental health, jump back into those comments, because he's looking for his bathing toaster. I'm just saying. But
this
yeah,
microphone and I are going to take a hot shower together if you don't.
Okay. So next week, join us, of course, for our Angel episode, which is season 1, episode 6, Sense and Sensitivity. James, any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Well, with all that being said, I've been one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm your other host, James.
Ta-ta.